funny that they asked me to do farming because I don't really do farming. Okay. I used to. And it's really funny how it worked out. Sometimes things will fall in your lap, and I'm just going to share some things with y'all later. But the most of my business comes from open houses and from my sphere of influence and pop buys and that kind of stuff. So working with Mets, what I was supposed to teach last week that's my cup of tea. But we're going to talk about farming today because I'm prepared for it. Okay. So let's get to, okay, can y'all see this?
No.
Yeah. Okay, hold on just a second. Share. How about that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so this introduction, where are you today? This is talking about what y'all have been doing up to now. Lead generation activities, your ahas from these activities. Who wants to share one thing they've been doing recently that they had not been doing before? Anybody?
So for me, I actually try to do like the reverse role, like process that people can call. And so it's not the farming thing, but I think it's like I've gotten out of the comfort zone. So I'm curious to learn about this part of it, if it works for me, of course.
Okay. You kind of cut out a couple of times, but I thought I've had a pretty good idea what you're talking about. Anybody have any ahas that they want to share about something that they've done differently? Okay, I'll share an aha with you. I had reached out to this person about selling her house, wondering if she was ready to sell her house. I pushed her over the edge, and she went and bought a house in Florida. So it's really funny how when you put something into somebody's head, they start. This was just by calling this little neighborhood that I guess you could say I've been farming it, because I've been trying to find a house for a buyer of mine that wants to be in a particular neighborhood in Atlanta to buy. And this one homeowner, they leapt off the deep end over Thanksgiving and bought a house because I put that in their head, and hopefully my buyer's going to buy their house, but before somebody else does. Okay, so that was a big aha for me. Just saying something about it really makes people think, yeah, we've been thinking about this for a while. Okay, I need one person to share what's been a difficult part of any of these new activities that y'all have been doing. Just one difficult thing.
I'll throw one out there, Kathy.
Okay.
I've got a mixture in my database of people I have complete information for, people I have an email or a telephone number for, and people I don't have a whole lot of anything for.
Yeah.
So the things that it didn't. I won't say it was an aha, but it was kind of an affirmation to focus on trying to get more information in the database and getting that score up, and doing what I need to do to just fill it out, I guess, is the term that I'll use for it. It's not so much an aha, it's just a realization, I guess.
Right. Okay, well, I've realized that too, Tony. I don't always get them in like I'm supposed to and get those scores up. Okay, I'll share something I'm going to do differently in the next 24 hours is, because I have not been doing that this week, other than this one person that the lady that I was just telling y'all about. I haven't spoken to anybody in a week, and I have been putting all my energy into my family, and it's, I can see in my numbers, there's 0. I've talked to one person this week. So other than a nephew who is a real estate closing attorney, that's the only people I've talked to real estate too this week, and I'm going to see that in the middle of January. It's going to be a little different. So you got to do your things. You got to do your.
Another aha I got was I got a transaction, I got a listing, and I got it under contract in 6 days. But all the stuff in getting that listing, getting it under contract has consumed me. We have 4 different offers, and I didn't get a chance to call anybody or do anything else either. And now we're doing appraisals, we're trying to schedule inspectors, and it's been, I can see now why you need those support services.
Yes.
To grow to a certain extent. So if there's an aha, that's kind of an aha, I guess, for me, in that this can get out of hand really quickly in terms of your time.
And I'll tell you, this is how I was when I was a new agent. I thought, oh, I don't want to pay Robin T. Realty $300 or whatever to handle my business. But when you look at what you could make per hour, and Robin doing that for you, taking that off of you and keeping you on schedule and making sure your contingency dates are met, that $300 is a business expense. It is, or $350 I don't even know, because it's paid at closing. So it really helps when you leverage that part of your business. Okay, so we are talking about farming today. We've gone through all of these other power sessions. And so we're talking to, it was really funny to me when I first came to Keller Williams, and Habit Mets and Mets were really confusing to me. And it's funny that this was redone 5 years ago, and they're still in this book, it's still calling them Habit Mets and Mets, rather than leads and contacts and leads. So this is where we are. We are talking about farming. I will share with y'all also when farming, the first time I heard anybody talk about farming, it blew my mind, because I grew up in South Georgia in rural farming country. And I imagined when they started talking about farming, I was thinking they were talking about neighborhoods that had little farms. That's really what I thought. And that, obviously, that's not so. But farming can be called several different things. Okay, let me get. Okay, so what's going to make this a great experience is y'all contributing, talking about what you do and what you have, and ideas that you can come up with to help grow your business. And I love people jumping in and contributing. Okay, what is farming? So farming can be called like these 4 different things: farm, a market segment, a narrow market, or a niche. I love to call it a narrow market. Because you're narrowing down what you want to do, who you want to prospect and market to. So let me see. I got to get back. I'm off my. Okay. What term do you hear most frequently? About farming. Is it farming?
For me, it's
yeah,
farming.
it's farming.
Farming.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, you just got to figure out what you want to call it and run with it. Okay, so where do they live? Who are they? And what do they like? So these are the 3 different areas we're going to talk about. Okay.
Am I the only one getting feedback?
What'd you say?
No, someone's mic is open, so there's lots of feedback.
And can y'all hear a vacuum cleaner?
That might be it.
Yes, sounds like
It's
one.
the feedback I'm hearing.
Okay. Hold on.
Kathy, if people don't have their microphones on mute, you're going to get that. So whomever doesn't have a microphone on mute is probably doing that.
Well, I'm in the office and they're vacuuming next door. So I'm going to go in, Melody. She must not be at her desk. Y'all give me 1 minute. I'm gonna run around there and ask them to please go to another one. Melody, they can hear that back. Okay, so geographic farming. Where are they? Demographic farming, who are they? And psychographic farming, what are they like? So with geographic farming, you can target it by country. That was funny to me, country. State, metro area, subdivision, neighborhood, or street. As licensed agents in Georgia, you can sell anywhere in the state of Georgia. I wouldn't recommend it. I've done one in Columbus, Georgia, which was my grandmother's home, and it was a little tough, but made it work, and I tried to save some money for my mom and my uncle. But you can target certain areas, certain geographic areas, like we said, neighborhoods, or even the metro area. Like some people are inside the perimeter, some people are Cobb County, neighborhoods. Like I think of Peggy Connors, as a luxury agent. She's in the Country Club of the South, and that's her little farming area. Demographic farming. They're targeted by age, gender, income, net worth, occupation, race, nationality, or language. One of my Keller Williams babies has found her little niche in this group of young women that she does charity work, philanthropic work with, and she's doing a great job. Because, yeah.
Now, I just have a quick question. I'm sorry. Now, for demographic farming, do you have to be careful about discrimination issues, about targeting a specific age? Like if you want to target a specific age or a specific income, can you do that, or do you have to worry about any discrimination? Like if I want to target just to a 25 to 39 demographic.
Well, no, you can really. So we're going to get into that.
Sorry.
Because it's going to help you figure out what you want to do. But this is how they break it down. Like Elizabeth has built her business by young women who she does charity work with. And she's growing a nice little business because she's like-minded with these it's mostly young women that she's working with, and they're the same age that she is. So you're not going to run into that. I mean, if you think you're crossing the line, you might be crossing the line.
Kathy, can I chime in on that?
Yes, please, Cynthia.
Okay. So, like, if you are saying, I'm just servicing these people, I'm only doing this, that's where you will get it. But, like, you are going after specific, like you're saying, or whatnot. Not that you're saying I won't service anybody else. You're just saying, this is what I know I'm good at, so this is what I'm going to focus. But you're not automatically saying you're not servicing anybody else, or this is what I'm going to do, or I'm just going to tell you go here, there. That's not what you're doing. If you are, then you need to stop because you are working.
Thank you very much.
But if I send marketing materials out to people, I can't send them to specific demographics. I can't tailor it that specifically, can I?
You can mail them wherever you want to.
Yeah, I mean you can use a census information if you want to.
Because I've come across just some people that make, because I wanted a mail to say, I don't know, 25 to 39-year-olds making, in this income range. And I was told that was getting a little close to the line as far as.
It's not a protected class.
It's more it's probably more what you're wanting to send them. If you're sending them something that isn't appropriate for anybody, then you probably have an issue. Wouldn't you think, Kathy?
Yes,
You can target whatever demographic you would like. You just can't say, hey, I can only give these deals to 55 and over.
Yeah, or I'm not going to work with you because you don't have enough money. There's a difference in saying I'm not going to work with you and saying, hey, I want to work with y'all.
Yep.
So when you're farming, when you're targeting somebody, you're saying, look at me, here I am, I'm the expert, I want to work with you. When my son was in high school and played lacrosse, I had a lot of people in lacrosse that I focused on. So there's a difference in saying, I want to work with you and saying, I'm not going to work with you because you don't have enough money to buy the houses that I want to sell and make that big commission. So you're not.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for specifying that. Thank you all.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to get back to sharing. Okay, can you see it? Yes. Okay, and then psychographic farming. What do they like? Interests, hobbies, lifestyles, values, property preference, investment properties or condos. These are just some things to throw out, like, their Country Club of the South, Peggy Connors farms there. Big Canoe, a little further north of us. There are people that farm that neighborhood because they live in that neighborhood and they have people who like doing the same things they want to do. They're escaping from the lifestyle of Atlanta, the hustle and bustle of Atlanta, to some resort area outside of Atlanta, north of Atlanta, south of Atlanta, Lake Oconee. So it depends on, you can farm, interest to people of like-minded interests, certain hobbies like hiking, fishing, boating, golfing, lifestyles, whether you live in downtown Atlanta or in a subdivision outside in suburban Atlanta. Okay, so let's talk about this. We're going to talk about whether it's geographic, demographic. Something just went off on my computer up on the wall. Geographic, demographic, psychographic. Now, I'll tell you, they're not. It's not all the same thing. So what would investors be? Geographic, demographic, or psychographic?
Psychographic.
Yeah, but they could also be demographic.
Yeah.
If they want to be like in Roswell, in a bigger, farm area, in Roswell and Canton and Alpharetta or Cumming. So it could be too. First-time home buyers. What would they be?
And psychographic.
Psychographic and geographic.
Well, first-time home buyers would more likely be demographic or psychographic. But geographic, it could be because of first-time, and that, there are a lot of people who go in with first-time home buyers. There are certain neighborhoods that are considered first-time home buyer neighborhoods, smaller houses. You live there 7 to 12 years, and then you move on up to a bigger house. Luxury homes.
Demographic.
Be geographic too, if it's like Country Club of the South.
Yep, and psychographic because they're on lakes or golf courses or even like Avalon. certain homes in Avalon, you know, those are they're luxury homes, but I would say all on that one. Would y'all agree with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and what about condos?
Demographic.
Yep, demographic and geographic. Because most,
Graphic.
yeah, I have all on that also. So really, this little exercise is just to show you that they overlap, and that overlapping makes your business grow a little more because you've got you're overlapping. So you've got you're adding more to your little farming crop. Let's just really talk about farming, and it's your crop. Okay, so let's talk about the myths of farming, and really these really hit home with me. Farming takes too long and costs too much. It's a myth. The truth is, farming can become the core of your business. If you use a grassroots approach to it, it can really take off. The more signs you have in a neighborhood, this is where I wanted to share an experience with y'all. There was a neighborhood I passed every single day between my house and this office, and I got one listing in there, and it was on Broadwell Road. Lots of people come in from Cherokee County and North Fulton into Alpharetta, Roswell, down Broadwell Road. I had one sign there. Y'all, it took a year from the day I got the listing to the day it closed, and that's because it was a short sale. My sign was in that yard for a year. We closed on that house on Friday. On Monday, the next door neighbor called me and said, "Hey, I want you to sell my house." That house went under contract in 3 days. But my sign was on Broadwell Road also. So my sign was there again. It also was a short sale, and it took about 6 months. So for 18 months, I had my sign in that yard. And that's what this is talking about. Farming can become the core of your business because you have a sign in somebody's yard, and it's a lot of people pass that. That's the cost of the sign. And I just looked down and lost my train of thought. And also, one of the things I loved about that was if you're willing to walk around that neighborhood and talk to people, you're going to get face-to-face, and they're going to know you. And that's what I did. I would take, Friday evenings, if I didn't have anything going on, I would go wander around the neighborhood and see people face-to-face, and I knew who they were, and I loved it. Many houses don't sell in that neighborhood anymore. I was looking it up earlier today, and I think one house is sold in that neighborhood in the last 6 months. People love that neighborhood. They're not going anywhere. But I was able to get into that neighborhood because of one house that took a year to sell. But everybody knew it was a short sale. So, they didn't look at me like, oh, she's taking a long time to sell. They knew it was a short sale. It was not a good time in America when all of this was going on. Okay, myth 2, someone else already dominates the area. The truth is, no one is ever as dominant as you think. The neighborhood that I live in is a large neighborhood, and the person that dominates the neighborhood, has worked for the builder, then went out on her own and left the builder, and she saw that she could make more money. And people think that she dominates the market, but when you really look at it, only 25 to 30% of homes in a neighborhood are sold by one agent. So that leaves 70 to 75% of homes for you. Okay. And find out what agents are doing in that neighborhood and do something better. like in my neighborhood, I get lots of mass mailers, and other than one person, that person that I was just talking about, who worked for the builder and who I met when I bought my house, there, I have never met anybody else in that neighborhood. I've never met somebody face to face that has sent me a mass mailer. So just sending a mass mailer out is not going to do the job. Okay. Myth 3, a farm limits you to that area or specialty. A farm doesn't have to be your only source of business, but it is a good business to have. You're not limited to one area or specialty, but a farm gives you the efficiency of time and money because it focuses your business in that area. Realize that your expertise and knowledge of this specific area and customer base make you best suited to serve them. So when you focus on that area, you know all about it. You know the market statistics, days on the market, when you go preview a house, when a house hits the market, go preview that house, you know everything that's going on in that neighborhood. When you choose farming as your primary lead generation strategy, that does not also mean that it also doesn't mean that you should or that you must limit your other lead generation activities. Y'all, I have new contacts in today, and they're driving me a little nuts in my focus. How much more effective will your open houses be if you are a familiar face when somebody walks in, just a neighbor wanting to see what that house looks like? You're going to be a much more effective agent, and people are going to recognize you, and you're going to recognize them when you get to know the people in your farm area. Okay, myth number 4, it's all about mailers and mass marketing. It's the synergistic impact of both marketing and prospecting. That's the truth. And that's what I was just telling you about, like all the mass mailers I get. There's only one person whose face I know when I get those mass mailers. Nobody's ever come and knocked on my door and said, hey, I'd love to sell, I'd love to help you if you're interested in selling your house, or who do you know that wants to sell a house? I have a buyer. Nobody has ever walked up and knocked on my door or ever called me. And not all of them know that I'm a real estate agent. Okay. Myth number 5. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
Forgive me if you said this before. I know I joined a little bit late. So when you're speaking in reference to farming, are you speaking of a specific neighborhood? Or are you, when I say neighborhood, like let's just say it was Breckenridge, or are you speaking towards a certain area? That's one of my questions. And then the other would be, as far as like placing signs, let's just say that you did not have a listing in that area, but like at the beginning of the neighborhood, you put a sign like, hey, I have buyers, just to get your name out there. Is that something that you can do to get your name out in reference to trying to farm that specific neighborhood?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So when we're talking about farming, we're talking about geographic areas, demographics, or psychographics. So demographic is something that is defined by borders, like a subdivision, or it was talking about like if the subdivision is too big, then you work in a certain area of the subdivision. Start out small and grow it big. So your farm area can be a subdivision, a condo building. It can be somebody of a certain age group. It can be somebody of like mind that has certain interests, golfing, hiking, sports related.
Hey, Kathy.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing farming, maybe this might help you, Ebony, because I definitely see where the confusion can be. I'm seeing farming as niching.
Yeah,
whether it be a subdivision or whether it be I am just solely working with probate. So it's niching. Yeah,
that's what we were. Yeah, so it's a farm. It's a narrow market. It can be called a lot of different things, but a lot of people refer to it as your niche. But most people would consider a subdivision a farm. Does that make sense, Ebony?
It does. So if
Okay.
I do not have a listing in that subdivision,
But you have a buyer, or you, like, I have signs, what group is it that John runs? They have signs that say, hey, like the neighborhood that I was talking about earlier, it's Sagamore Hills in Atlanta, and it's right next door. It's very close to my mother-in-law's neighborhood, the neighborhood my husband grew up in, and I have a buyer who wants to be in Sagamore Hills. Well, I went and had signs made that say Sagamore Hills. It's a little rider at the top. We have a buyer. And then I put my name and my husband's name on it because he sometimes works with me, but he grew up in that area and people know him. So I put his name on there also so that people say, oh, is that Carrie Ray who, went to Lakeside High School with my little brother? But I do have signs. I have about 9 signs out in that neighborhood, and nobody's bothered them yet. So I was in that neighborhood last night showing 2 houses, and nobody has bothered those signs. But nobody's called me from those signs. However, they're still there, and they're seeing my name. So you can do that. But I put it on the right-of-way for the neighborhood and not in somebody's yard. There's one in a school, Sagamore Hills Elementary School. I've got one off to the side of the sidewalk there. But so you can do that. Use that neighborhood as your farm if you don't have a listing, but you have a buyer. Maybe. Okay. Oh, I get a little excited when I ramble. I'm sorry. I'm trying to share my screen again. Why isn't it sharing? Okay, can y'all still see this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, you can stop and start your farming efforts. That's a myth. The truth is, you must pursue your farm consistently and persistently. Take, for example, the little farm I had in Crabapple, and so for about 4 years, I sold a lot of houses in that neighborhood. And then it's like there weren't any more houses. Nobody had to move from there. They wanted to stay there, and I quit farming it. I never spent a penny in that neighborhood, but sold a lot of houses. Like, I didn't do mass mailers. I just talked to people. I called them, and I saw their faces a lot. So you must pursue your farm consistently and persistently. I quit farming it, and I haven't sold anything in there since probably 2013, 7 years. So if you don't do it consistently and persistently, you're going to lose. They're not going to recognize you as Old MacDonald, just say that way, because you're the farmer. Okay, so selecting your farm. So you got to choose how you want your presence to be known if you're in your geographic farm, like a master plan subdivision or a condo building. You've got to figure out what you want to go after. Do all of y'all have a certain neighborhood? Are all of y'all considering farming?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a neighborhood picked out, Tony?
Yes.
Yep.
Actually, 3 of them.
Oh, okay. So are you going to start all 3 at once? Or are you going to just jump on one first?
Start one, see what they respond to, and duplicate that in the other 2.
Okay. So we need to talk about how to intensify and boost your efforts and messages. So I would suggest, even though I'm not a professional at it, I would suggest you starting with one and growing from there. Figure out what works in one, focus your money there and your efforts and your time there, and then you can, oh shoot, I'm sorry, I was supposed to forward my calls so that I didn't get, I'm really sorry about this, y'all, so that I didn't get.
You're fine, Kathy. It's Aubrey. I just hopped on. I heard there were some questions.
Yeah,
about,
I got the same thing going on. You're good.
Okay, good. What, Aubrey?
You guys were asking some questions about age or something like that. Was there a question about that? Yeah.
Well,
The demographics.
yeah, we were talking about, could you get in trouble if you were focusing on farming to demographics to a certain age group or an income level?
Anti-discrimination laws.
Yeah. So if you're gonna, your ad can't be, this is only for this age group, right? Facebook no longer allows us to target specific age groups either. Like we can only get down to a certain area. Like we can't even do a 1 mile radius anymore. They don't allow it to get that focus. It has to be a little bigger. So you definitely want to be careful on how you can't be, anything that can be seen as discriminatory probably is. So stay away from that.
But okay, so we were talking about the types of farming, and then when the geographic, the demographic, and the psychographic, and Tony said, can you get in? Yeah, can you get in trouble by that? But so you could, if you said, I'm not going to work with you because you don't have the right income.
Yeah.
I'm not going to work with you because you don't look like me. I'm not going to work with you because I don't want to go in that neighborhood. You can't do that. You got to help. I like to help everybody. So
the way I look at it, Kathy, to try to keep it simple, is I say I can pick whoever I want to market to, whether they're up to 21 to 39 or 50 and over, for example, but I have to show them the same thing I show everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple way to think of it. I have to market to them everything I market to everybody else.
You guys remember those words, redlining and steering? You know, so, yeah.
And
Kathy, I'm sorry. Just to clarify, I mean, I'll work with anybody, of course, but I was just talking about earlier. Just so if I want to send out, 1,000 flyers as my initial push, but I just wanted to send those to a particular demographic.
You can pick an area to market to. That's up to you. But what you can't say in that article is I only want to work with a certain origin or orientation or whatever. Yeah, but you can pick an area that's highly densely populated with first-time buyers to its apartments. Or college students because it's a college area and they might want to buy their first home. Yeah, you can do that. Your marketing just can't say anything about age group.
Got it.
Okay. So I boiled it down to here, like saying, here I am, I'm a real estate agent, I want to work with you, versus I'm not going to work with you.
Oh, no, of course not.
So, yeah. So that's, I think we covered it well. Okay.
I'll hop off. You're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, y'all. Okay, so let me get back to sharing. Come on. Okay, can y'all see that? Selecting your farm, can you see that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Thank you. Sometimes I have to. There we go. Okay, now you can. Okay, so your goals. So to select your farm, your goals that you got to figure out the market share that you want, the gross closed income, and what the number of closed transactions are going to be. So really, you don't want to focus on a small neighborhood, because if you're doing a small neighborhood of very fine homes, they're not going to turn over as often as you want them to. So you got to figure out the market share that you want in that neighborhood, what you want to make, and how many transactions that's going to be. Your budget, your time and your money, how much you're going to put into it, the size of the farm, option to start small tuning, grow to adjacent streets or neighborhoods, and easier to meet everyone. And that's kind of what I did in my neighborhood, although I don't like to say that I'm farming it. I've just lived there 14 years, and there are actually 4 roads that I concentrate on. They're smaller, shorter roads. The neighborhood is very big, but I started small on my street. I started on my street, and then I grew for 4 more streets down from me. So it's easier to meet everyone. People know who you are, and it's real funny that there's one guy that lives on my street that calls me the mayor of Ravenhood. Our street is named Ravenwood Way, but we call it Ravenhood because it's a cul-de-sac, and it's the last street in the neighborhood. We call it Ravenhood because it's our own. We feel like it's our own little part of the neighborhood, even though the big neighborhood is big. So your accessibility, you want to be able to get to it. You don't want to be living in Roswell and farming Conyers or even Marietta. It needs to be something that you can drive through once every 1 to 2 weeks. Get out and talk to people, walk through it on weekends. So it needs to be convenient for you. Existing geographic boundaries, like we said, if keep it between certain streets. What kind of homes do you want them to be? Do you want them to be mid-level? Do you want them to be starter homes? You know what? And the starter homes, first-time home buyer homes, are really, the price of them is fabulous, and there are so many first-time home buyers that need your help. And if you can go walk those neighborhoods and find another thing that was when my husband and I were young and living in a certain neighborhood, we had friends that wanted to be in that neighborhood, but there weren't any houses available in that neighborhood. So if you can talk to people who and find out, do they have friends that want to be in your neighborhood, in the neighborhood? That's another way to get business. And the desirability, how fabulous is a neighborhood? Do people really want to be in it? Like what I'm talking about, Sagamore Hills in Atlanta is a very desirable neighborhood. Now these houses, the 2 that I showed last night, one was built in 60 and one was built in 59. And this is a first-time home buyer who wants to be in this neighborhood, and she doesn't care if it's been updated. If they've been updated, they're in the 600,000s. If they haven't been updated, they're in the 380 to 490 price range, depending on the size and if they've had any updates at all. A new roof, or the guts have been, like the HVAC and the hot water heater have been replaced. But that is a neighborhood she wants to be in, and it's a struggle to find something that fits her needs. So if you can pick a neighborhood, and I'm probably going to start farming this neighborhood because of my signs out there, it is a very desirable neighborhood. When they go on the market and they're priced right, they don't stay on the market 3 days. So that's another thing you need to look at. So then you need to know your number of haven't mets and mets. What is, if there are 100 people in that neighborhood and you've met 20 of them, that's 80 people you haven't met. How are you gonna get in front of them, get their information, get their phone numbers? How are you gonna do that? FastPeopleSearch.com. That's my favorite thing. When you can't find information, sometimes you can't find it in Cole Realty, but I can find it in Fast People Search. The average sales price, is this going to support your goals? If the average sales price is $250,000 and you want to make $150,000 or $200,000 this year, you're probably not going to be able to support your goal by just focusing on your farming of that neighborhood. The turnover rate, the national average is 4%, but you got to target a farm area of at least 10%. So the bigger the neighborhood, the higher the turnover rate, and the pricing of the houses, the higher the turnover rate. People that are like me, I'm 57 years old. My husband is 60 years old. When you're my age, you're going to stay put in a home until you're probably about 72. So look at this, tenure in previous home. This is real funny to me. Less than a year, 2%. 2 to 3 years, 3%. Yesterday, I've just remembered this phone call I had yesterday because I'm showing houses this evening. I have a buyer who called me yesterday and said, Kathy, we found a house we want to take a look at. And I said, you haven't even been in your house 2 years. She said, I don't care. We like this house. We want to go see it. So that was real surprising to me because I really thought when she bought it a couple of years ago, I thought she was going to be there 5 to 7 years. That was her plan. So 4 to 5 years, 9%. 6 to 7 years in a house, 3%. So 8 to 10 years, 14%. 11 to 15 years, 5%. I've been in my house almost 15 years, and I don't plan on going anywhere for a while. 16 years or more, 25%. That's a lot of people that have been in their houses. So the median is 12 years. Okay, the other market conditions, days on the market. If the neighborhood is a fabulous neighborhood, it's not going to be on the market long. Do they have expired listings? Like if listings aren't expiring, you want that neighborhood. Competition, market share versus mind share. So that if somebody's farming a neighborhood, they're probably only getting 25 to 30%. That, like we said earlier, that is 70 to 75% that you can get, that is available for you to get. Wouldn't it be fun to get your 25 to 30% also? And you're fit for the farm. How can you relate and fit in with them? That's so important. They want to know that about you. And if you're approachable, if you're accessible, if you answer your phone, y'all, there's this client of mine in my neighborhood. We had her house on the market last year, and we had to take it off the market because her husband, something happened with his job. She was working with that agent I was telling y'all about first in the neighborhood that used to work for the builder. And she, that agent wouldn't answer her phone. And so my client called me, and I answered the phone, and she said, the first thing she said was, oh my gosh, you answered your phone. And I said, yes, how can I help you? And she said, I want you to list my house. So I listed her house. We got an offer on it. We had to take it off the market. We're getting ready to put it back on the market. But I've kept in touch with her by what I love doing most of all, pop buys. So the last time I popped by at Thanksgiving, she said, hey, January, we're going to put the house back on the market. And I said, okay, great. But that's the thing. Answer your phone. Okay, your demographic and demographic and psychographic farms, the 10 factors you have to consider: your goals, your budget, the size of the neighborhood, like we talked about earlier, the accessibility, haven't mets versus mets, the average sales price, the motivation, the current trends in the neighborhood, your competition, and your fit for the farm. So these are for the demographic. They're a little bit different than the geographic. So like what motivates that group of people that are in the same age range or in the same interest area? You got to keep up with that. Okay, popular niches: specific generations, Hispanics, Latinos, foreign-born customers, second home and investment buyers, luxury home clientele, other real estate agents. We'll talk about all that. Okay. Single buyers, pet-friendly neighborhoods, student housing, waterfront golf course properties, first-time home buyers, condos, and urban development. So what I thought about earlier is student housing. There's in certain areas of Georgia, like sorry, I didn't mean to get to that. Athens, Statesboro, Savannah, Atlanta doesn't have that kind of same that kind of same market but Kennesaw does. When you're looking there are people who want to invest in student housing.
College towns is what you're talking about.
College towns, yeah. So like I said, Statesboro, Georgia. My son lives in a neighborhood. Every house in that neighborhood is a 4-bedroom, 4-bath house. And nobody that lives in that neighborhood owns one of those houses. It's all investors. Somebody bought the house when their kid was going to school and then kept it as an investment. Or there are certain areas around Georgia, certain cities around Georgia, college towns, but Atlanta, other than Kennesaw, I have not found anything like Georgia Tech, Georgia State University. It's hard to find investment properties for that student housing. Waterfront golf course properties, Country Club of the South, Lake Arrowhead, Big Canoe. Those are just ones that pop into my head. First time home buyers. So if you have a connection with anybody who is getting out of college soon or has gotten out of college recently and still in an apartment, that's a good way to focus your time, getting to know what you can do for them and their people, the people that they work with, the people that they went to college with. They may be living with 3 people they went to college with in an apartment, and you've got 4 buyers right there. Condos and urban development. If you live in Midtown, or if you want to live in Midtown, the condo buildings down there are fabulous places to farm. My daughter and son-in-law lived in a Midtown Plaza. They lived in Plaza Midwood in Charlotte, Midtown Plaza in downtown Atlanta, and there was a guy who lived in that condo building who did a fabulous job marketing to the neighbors and doing things like happy hours. He would host happy hours in the lounge area because it had a fabulous room with fireplaces and a pool table and a bar. He would host events there. I thought that was so much fun. I'm too old for that though. Selecting your farm. Boomers or Gen Xers? So baby boomers are 60 and up. They're selling their family home and downsizing to a smaller home or condo, and their children are echo boomers. I didn't know that till I was getting ready for this. I'm an echo boomer. The grandchildren are millennials. My children are millennials. They're buying echo boomers. They're buying a second home, investment property, or moving up into a larger home. Their parents are baby boomers and their children are millennials. And millennials are 20s to 40s. They're leaving the nest and buying a first home or condo. Their grandparents are typically baby boomers and sometimes echo boomers. So the couple that I told you about called me yesterday, and they haven't even been in their house for 2 years. His parents are like one of my core advocates. So if you find somebody, like that, and you do a good job for them, you can focus on a family, and they will help you grow your business. If you do something with integrity and do it well, they're going to remember you and they're going to call you. And this, that person her name is Janie. She's the decision maker of that family, and she has sent me a lot of business because I handled something well for her. And so I'm pretty much farming her. She's given me so much business. It's so you can look at that, also as a family as your farm. So Cynthia, when I was doing this, I was thinking about you and Oscar. Hispanics and Latinos, they're the fastest growing group of buyers. When people come to America, immigrants come to America, the first thing they want to do is buy a house. They want to own a home in America. They also prefer to be closer to their extended family. So they want to be in a certain area or a certain neighborhood or even next door. Cynthia, have you worked with anybody that has had multiple family members?
Yeah. Like that is one thing I'm doing, that I'm helping teach Latinos or Spanish families that have like both languages to educate them what they need to do in order for them to get there. Like help them if it's going to be 6 months, a year, whatever it is. And I've noticed that it is, if they buy a certain area, they're going to try to get their family member closer to that area, and I've gotten a lot of referrals. So that is my niche kind of thing. That's what I'm focusing on the Hall County area. So
yeah. Okay, thank you for saying that. Okay, selecting your farm. This I have, I don't normally work with people that have a different language than I do. Like I referred somebody to Cynthia. Did you ever help that person, Cynthia?
Yeah, it ended up being that they wanted to rent, but yes.
Okay, so you got to be in the preparation they were talking about. You might want to learn a new language if there's a group that you want to work with. Learn a new language. Learn what it takes to be naturalized, or to whatever it takes for foreign-born buyers. That's so over my head, and I think that is fabulous that people are so willing to bridge that gap. Like you had to bridge it, Cynthia, when you moved here.
Yeah, I was 17. I didn't really.
Yeah.
I didn't drive or anything, so.
But you taught yourself English, and you can explain everything. Like you can explain your credentials. You can explain what agency means in your first language.
Yeah, I'm actually more comfortable speaking Spanish. So
yeah, that's. I remember you telling me that. You can get your Certified International Property Specialist designation, and Keller Williams has a class that you can go through at Keller Williams University. Okay, so the additional tips for selecting your farm is if it's foreign-born buyers, learn the language, learn the customs, market in their language, check the census numbers. What I think is so fabulous about Keller Williams is that we have such a vast group of people from different countries that, if someone called in and said, hey, I really want somebody who speaks Spanish. Hey, I really want somebody who's fluent in Russian. Hebrew, whatever. We've got that at Keller Williams, and that's kind of getting off the subject here, but we do have a broad array of fabulous agents who can know how to work with people, different people. The second home and investment buyers are, it could be another farm, 35% of home sales are second homes. And the buyers are typically baby boomers. They have a little more money. They've been saving for a while. They have equity in their home. It is probably paid off. So that's a great farm. That's a great niche to work with. And they don't always have to, you don't have to be a baby boomer to work with baby boomers. Okay. 81% of today's affluent under 35-year-olds are planning to buy a luxury home in the coming year. How many of y'all know an under 35-year-old who's planning to buy a luxury home in the coming year? Does anybody?
Nope.
This blew my mind, but this luxury home market continues to see healthy growth. This was from 2014 because the book was updated in 2015, but it's still true today. And there are a lot of affluent people under the age of 35 that have made their money in the tech world. So if you can get in with, if you're young and you know where these people hang out, go hang out with them. They're a demographic. That's not a geographic farm. Go where the people are. If you don't have children at home that need to be in bed at 7 o'clock at night, go where the people are. Okay, other real estate agents. They are a wealth of support for you, and they can be your farm. Like, I have people in certain cities in South Georgia and Texas and South Carolina that, did I say South Georgia? South Georgia, South Carolina, Texas, that refer business to me a lot. And they are, that's a farm, think of other agents as your farm. Build a relationship with them. Find out where people are moving from. You can go into Command and see where the majority of people moving to Atlanta. I can't really tell you how to get there. I could show you later, but I can't really tell you how to get there. But you can see where buyers are coming from, and reach out to agents in those cities and say, hey, do you have anybody moving to Atlanta? That's a great farm. It's only limited by your imagination and your opportunities to target those people. It doesn't have to be a Keller Williams agent. It can be a Berkshire Hathaway agent in Chicago. When you look on Command and you're seeing where all these people are coming from, don't just think about Keller Williams agents. Think about RE/MAX. Think about Berkshire Hathaway. I had somebody from RE/MAX in Kansas City, Missouri, reach out to me last year to help a client of hers, and it was delightful. And she has said, if you ever have anybody move into Kansas City, think of me, and I certainly will, because she sent me business. So that's a little farm. That's like, don't be held down by your mindset. Use your imagination. It's unlimited. Okay, so defining your identity and positioning. Let me get to this. I've kind of gotten off my notes. Anybody have a question while I'm here? No? Okay.
One.
Okay, Tony.
In terms of sheer volume of opportunity, one of the figures I've heard people throw around is if you're going to farm something, and say it's a geographic farm, you should look at you look at homes that are around 350, 400, 450, which is a sweet spot, and or look at a community or communities of 500 homes a year.
Absolutely. Yes, it absolutely needs to be 500 homes, because so if you take 10% of the people in there are going to move a year, just say that's 50 homes. Think somebody else is going to have 25 to 30% of that market share. That's 20%. Y'all, I just lost it. 20% of 50 is 10. So then
About 10 homes, yeah.
40, there are another 40 homes in there. What if you got 10 of those homes? And if that neighborhood were 400 and let's just use a $400,000 price, you're going to make it $12,000 on it. So that's $120,000. If you're focused on that same area, put your resources, your money and your time into farming a great little neighborhood, and $400,000 homes, y'all, they fly off the shelves. That is a great little area to be in. I would rather sell 3 $400,000 homes than a $1.2 million home. It's so much easier. Okay, so time versus money. Oh, wait. Yes, I'm on the right page. No, I'm not. Sorry, y'all. I was really prepared for my Mets, but then when my mother-in-law died, that threw me off. And having 4 children, 3 grandchildren, and all the spouses and significant others at my house has restrained me. I apologize I'm really not as prepared as I was for the last class, but I'll be doing it again. I'll be doing it again, and I'll be better prepared. But we'll be doing the working with Mets also. So thank you for bearing with me. Okay, so in one of the not the past power sessions, y'all talked about your style analysis, correct?
No, not yet.
Okay. So in this, let me get back to this. Let me see. Okay, so it's this exercise, refine your style analysis. If y'all have the handout, it's on page 35, and it's refining your style analysis. Brainstorming your personal style. Is your style formal, business casual, informal, conservative, chic, flamboyant?
Oh yeah, we did do this in the beginning.
Okay, so this was, y'all are going to want to refine your style analysis. And then that will, I'm sorry, I started circling things on here also. Okay, so y'all are going to want to do that on page 35. And do you want to do it now, or do you want to just do it later with homework?
I think we did this in one of the programs already.
Yeah, you did, but this was saying refine it. So I didn't.
Sorry, refine it. Okay.
So you probably don't have that with you, and you're probably not prepared to do that. So go back and do this on page 35. Go back and do that, and then pages 35 and 36. You're going to want to go back and look at those. Okay, so working your farm. Let me get back over to this slide. Okay, I don't have the money to lead generate. Yeah, I used to think that also. And you do need money, but more importantly, your time is important too. Lead generation doesn't have to cost money. Get out there, talk to people. That makes a huge difference when people know your name and your face and they've spoken with you. That way, when you send them a handwritten note, I would much rather get a handwritten note than a slick, fancy mass mailer that costs $1,000 to send to a neighborhood. Wouldn't y'all?
I'm used to text.
What'd you say?
I'm used to texting and emails.
Yeah, texting and emails, but y'all, a handwritten note is, yes, it does cost you a stamp, and you can get some nice little pieces of stationery online or even at the Dollar General. But, just go buy $20 worth of stamps a week and send out handwritten notes, that makes a big impact on people. And I've been told I got business because my handwritten notes were impressive, because people don't get handwritten notes anymore. So
What did you write in your note, if you don't mind sharing?
you know what? I will send y'all. I take pictures of what I do. So I will be glad to send y'all. It just depends on who I'm writing to. Like if I've called somebody, if I've gotten somebody on the phone, I send them a handwritten note. So it just depends on what we talked about. I thank them for taking my call. It was great to catch up with them. But I will text y'all all from my phone some pictures of what I send. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, but really, a phone call and a handwritten note. That's huge. It really is. Okay, establish your reputation first. Your reputation is of utmost importance. Be sincere about who you are. And be sincere when you're talking to people and you want to help people. And when you call, when I've called people looking for homes for a buyer in a specific neighborhood, like Sagamore Hills or Polo Fields, which I also did recently, they were so impressed that I was doing something. I was proactively doing something. I'd made a commitment to a buyer to find a home in that neighborhood, and then followed up with a handwritten note with your business card in it, or 2 business cards in it. It really makes a difference. People love a handwritten note. They would much rather receive that. All they get in the mail now is bills and slick real estate flyers, or something about us, about the election. I mean, we'd rather get a handwritten note than a anything else. I really would. Okay, prospecting in your farm, relationship farming. That's like what I was telling y'all earlier with my client Janie, who has become my core advocate, and her son and daughter-in-law calling me yesterday. I was so appreciative that they thought of me again, but I've stayed in touch with them and dropped off stuff at Thanksgiving. But your relationship, find out Janie, this is what I've done because I'm farming Janie. She has dogs that compete in
confirmation.
No, not that. Well, yeah, that. She's had a dog go to Westminster, but she has Parsons Russell Terriers. That's what she raises. And they do the agility courses and dock diving. So one time last year, she was headed to Florida for a dock diving competition. I took her this bag, like a Kroger bag, not a plastic bag, but one of those bags you get at Kroger or Publix for 99 cents, and I loaded it down with stuff for her to snack on in the car on the way to Florida, a bottle or 2 of wine for the nights when she got back to her room, and all kinds of snacks. And she doesn't forget me. She is. I think I've made over $5 million. I've sold $5 million. I haven't made $5 million. I've sold over $5 million because of Janie. So I treated her well. She treats me well. We go out to supper, and I'm farming her. So that's a relationship. And then you've got prospecting based and marketing enhanced. So the prospecting based is getting out and meeting people, talking to them on the phone, sending them a card, a handwritten card, and seeing them face to face. Marketing enhanced is where you send the slick flyers about the market activity in the neighborhood, or it can be an email or a text with a PDF attached. I don't know about y'all. I don't like getting stuff in email about other people's houses. I will open up something in a text message much faster than I'll do something in an email. How about y'all?
About the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's not, I mean, to me, a text message is a little more personal. When I see those things come in, I think, oh, they've just, you know, fired off one thing. They don't know who it's going to. But when it comes to a text message, they think you've taken all that time, and you have, to send them a text message. But you can market yourself through text messaging. But I'll be honest, the slick flyers, they cost a lot of money, and I never even look at them. I toss them in the trash. So I don't think I would ever.
Recycling bin for me, immediately from the mailbox to the recycling bin.
Yes, exactly. A lot of people do that. Okay. Okay. So back to this relationship farming. Have any of y'all, do any of y'all have a relationship with somebody that you want to share with, Cynthia?
What kind of
like I was telling y'all about my relationship with Janie, and how, like, I'll drop by Janie's house every 4 to 6 weeks and drop something off: a bottle of wine, a 6-pack of beer, a pumpkin. Like for Christmas, I always do these little breakfast pies. So, you know, I stay in contact. I stay in a relationship with her. So I was just wondering if anybody has a relationship. Robin Consor, if you're still on here, you probably have a relationship that you farm.
I do. Like, I actually have this family that actually met when my first couple months in real estate. I was showing anything and everything that started with rentals, and so I found this couple that were moving from New York. They're an Egyptian couple. They're just like super sweet, super nice. And so I met them. They were actually kind of worried about talking to me or doing anything with me, because they're like, what the heck is this? They showed up at the same house that I was going to show a client later. And so I said, hey, if you guys are comfortable, I'm here. I'll take over everything for you guys from this point on. I will do FaceTime if you guys want to see something, because they were just here for that weekend.
Yeah.
And eventually they said, you know what, like, we'll give you a chance. You're here. They eventually helped them rent, and we've stayed in contact. I talked to them, we get out to lunch and whatnot. They've referred a couple of their friends, and I just love that couple. Like, it's just,
yeah.
Continue that relationship, and I mean, it's like just having them, like, I consider friends. They're hang out actually with us, come for my kid's birthday. It's such a good feeling to work with clients or friends, and it's just such a natural relationship, and they can see it, and it's you're being genuine, you know?
Yeah. So so when you're relationship farming, amazing things happen when you maintain a consistent relationship, when you can maintain a consistent, when you're contacting them, when you're getting face-to-face with them. Amazing things really do happen. And when you find someone in a neighborhood, that there's in your handout, it talks about this one lady referred to somebody as a bird dog in the neighborhood. You're going to find, when you get face to face with somebody, and you like, if somebody gives you a tip, drop them off a bottle of wine or a bottle of champagne or some, you know, and thank them for that, because they're going to remember you, and they're going to call. If you maintain a relationship with them, a contact with them, they're going to let you know, hey, so-and-so is thinking about selling their home. You know, you need to contact them. And that's what this Keller Williams agents called the Bird Dog, and she had a couple of different farms, a couple of different neighborhoods, and she said she always could find who the Bird Dog was and who would know everything that was going on, even though nobody else knew what was going on. This one person would know, and when you find that person, it's fabulous because they're just giving you, they're just sending you business. So just staying in contact with people is the most important thing. So there's an exercise in here about on page 40 about your ideal size of your geographic farm, and it's based on if we were together, we'd break out and do this little exercise. But I want y'all to do it. It's based on your METs and your habit METs and how much you want to do in a certain neighborhood, and it helps you break it down and what you're going to spend on it. But y'all, really, you don't have to spend a lot of money. A bottle of wine, a fresh baked batch of cookies, a lot, real personal stuff goes a lot further than a slick flyer that Nicole and I throw in the trash or the recycling bin. So when somebody does something or gives you a heads up, go back, take them something, and develop that relationship with them. They're going to remember you. They're going to remember your name. Making somebody feel special is and surprised and delighted is a wonderful thing, and people remember you. I love surprising and delighting people, but okay, so here it is. So this is on page 40 that y'all, okay. So there was this one article in here about this man who had a client, this Keller Williams agent who had a client coming to town and had to be in a specific neighborhood. He went out and knocked on doors for 45 minutes. He found somebody who was thinking about selling their house. It was $18,000 commission. He had both sides. So that happened with me in Polo Fields. I had a buyer who wanted to be in the Polo Fields, wanted a certain house, and I thought I need to farm the Polo Fields because it's a great little property. So y'all can still do it too. I'm just telling you, it's a great little neighborhood. But this buyer wanted a brick ranch, did not want a stucco or anything. We looked at a stucco, and that's when she decided, I had a stucco before, I don't want to do this. It's a lot of upkeep. Well, next door to them happened to be a brick ranch. And I looked them up in FMLS. They had bought that house about 7 years ago. I called them and said, hey, do you want to, have y'all thought about selling your house? And they said, well, we've been thinking about it. We may be moving to Florida. This was in March, y'all, when the craziness of COVID had just started. So it's very similar to the guy knocking on doors for 45 minutes. I called him. It was a $515,000 purchase price from a buyer. And that, I got a nice commission on that. And then I sold her house for over $900,000. She wanted to downsize. So it is when you get out, you think outside of the box and just talk to people. In my conversations, calling those people, I'd call a couple of different people in there, and one of them was a Better Homes and Gardens agent, and she lived in the neighborhood. She had been in her house about 8 years, and she said, I have never heard of somebody doing that, calling, looking for a home. She's been in the business 30 years. And she said, I like you. I think you need to be at Better Homes and Gardens. I said, well, I like you. I think you need to be at Keller Williams, because being in the business 30 years, if you were at Keller Williams, you would have already known to do that. So 5 minutes on the phone with these other people, the Jussics. I sold their house and had a good conversation with another agent. So just don't let your imagination limit you. Just do whatever and have a good time. But talk to people. It's all about talking to people and getting in front of them. We don't have these golden halos that say, hey, I'm a real estate agent, I want to help you. You got to talk to them. Okay, so this was what I was talking about earlier. I thought I'd skipped it. Mary Harker is a Keller Williams agent that said, find your bird dogs, your core advocates who refer business. So my core advocate, like I said earlier, is Janie. But I don't work in the neighborhood that Janie lives in now. I sold her a house in there, but I don't work in that neighborhood because it's too far from me. Okay, come from contribution. Have something of value to give. It can be a handout of what's going on in the neighborhood right now. You can just hand it to them. It can be a pack of seeds. It can be, I had this forwarded, that is so weird, and I'm getting text messages. And meet people face to face. They're going to remember your face. They're going to remember how you make them feel. Make them feel good. Thank them for whatever whatever the information they can give you. Thank them for it. If they give you a good lead, you need to treat them. A good bottle of wine, on sale at Kroger, $6.97. Clos de Bois. People love that. So that's, I am really sorry. I forwarded that, but text messages are still coming in from my sisters. Come from contribution. Create a directory for the neighborhood. Organize a neighborhood yard sale. Start a website. Create a neighborhood email or a Facebook group or blog. I know a lot of agents in this neighborhood do that. Like, think of, not this agents in this neighborhood, agents in this office. Roxy Hernandez, Michelle Slater, Veronica Barish. When I think of them, I think of, oh my gosh, now I can't even think it. What's the neighborhood they live in?
Martin's Landing.
Martin's Landing, thank you. I was wanting to say Milton something. Okay, and Veronica farms a school. So she farms Martin's Landing and she farms a school. So she gets a lot of business there. Caryville, a lot of her business comes from her girls' school that she knows so many people there. So it can be a school. Your farm can be a school. And I know that they've, some of them have created Facebook groups or blogs. Anybody think of anything that they would want to take to other than a packet of seeds or a CMA for the neighborhood? What else could you take?
I'm going to be taking miniature candy canes around.
Oh, that's a great idea. That is a great idea. So, it really is all about working smarter, and not harder. Dropping off candy canes. Or what are you going to put on it, Tony?
I've come off mute. I'm prevailing upon my 70-year-old sister who's retired and bored to wrap ribbons around them and put a little note on them.
Okay, and what's the note going to say?
I'm still working on that one. I'm going to have it this weekend. I just got to come up with a short enough note so that it isn't bigger than the candy cane.
Pinterest.
Yeah, Pinterest. It could be something about, aren't we glad the year is coming to an end? 2021, here we come. Something like anything like that.
Was it Donna who did the wrapping paper with the Scotch tape? That I'm going to take that idea.
Oh, I don't know about that. Did y'all talk about that in one of the earlier power sessions?
I'm not sure if this class, she wrapped this year up or something with some wrapping paper.
Oh, that is good.
Is that you, Donna?
Sounds That was not me, Nicole, but I heard the same thing. It was something like thinking of you as I wrap up the year or something like that.
Yes.
That is brilliant.
And you go Dollar Tree and get it. I mean, I figured that was be very easy to do.
That is so good. Okay, and yeah, if you get it from Dollar Tree or Dollar General, it's not going to cost that much, and just drop it off right away. You could do that this weekend. Okay, so there's some exercises that y'all need to do. When you're before you go out wandering around the neighborhood, be prepared with your scripts. Hi, I'm Kathy Ray with Keller Williams. Thanks for opening your door for me today. The reason I'm out today is because I have a client buyer who wants to be in your neighborhood and was curious, do you know anybody that might be getting ready to sell their house? You know, just be ready for what you're going to say. Like, I'm not ready today. I'm just being honest with y'all. So, you know, and ask for those referrals. Sometimes it feels like it's awkward, but don't let it be awkward. Ask for the referrals. But you know, you need to build trust with your farm. You need to be recognized in your farm, and getting that way is not with slick mailers that people aren't even going to look at your picture. They're not going to know your face based on their your mailers. Your face needs to be at their house. You know, pick a time when you know they're home, and you know, go visit with people. Do it at least every 2 weeks, at least, and you're going to see a big difference. So, you know, you're working through all these exercises. What you're going to need to learn is there's going to be a point where you're going to want to increase your farm area, maybe into, it's like I am only on 4 streets in my neighborhood. But if you go, you know, the next street over, just, you know, increase it a little bit at a time. And people, that way you're still first of mind with the people in your farm, and you're getting to know a few more people, you know, each year.
Do it every 2 weeks, Kathy?
Do I do it every 2 weeks?
No, what are we doing every 2 weeks, please?
The suggestion in this power session was get out there every 2 weeks, spend 2 hours every 2 weeks, and you can get you can see if you spend 3 minutes, like from one house to another, 3 minutes, saying, "Hey, I'm Kathy Ray. I live in the area. I've sold homes in your house, in your neighborhood." Whatever you have, whatever you want to tell them, be prepared and say the same thing over and over. Take 3 minutes per house. That's getting to the house next door, and only spending maybe 2 minutes. 3 minutes total per house. Getting to the house, being in front of them for a minute, and then getting to the next house. Spend 2 hours every 2 weeks, and your people in your farm are going to know you. Your little crop is going to know you. Any ahas from this? Okay, I'm going to give y'all an aha.
I couldn't get off mute.
You couldn't what?
I couldn't get off mute. Like I was trying to say, like my my thing is like I've sent some nurse to try to farm my neighborhood here, but like what I have failed to do is do it consistently. So you're gonna start doing it. You've got to continue doing it. If not, don't try to do it.
Yeah.
You're just wasting your money and time.
Yeah. So I will tell you, handwritten notes really will make a difference in your business. People will appreciate that so much. And I will send y'all I'll send y'all some later, because I haven't taken any recently, but what I do is like when I went, like I'll write one out and I'll say, oh my gosh, that was a good one. So I'll take a picture of it. So I have to go back through and find them. That way I can use them over and over again, depending on, you know, what I've said to somebody before me. And I do go back into command and I put, you know, what I said, you know, did I ask about certain things? Or just tell them certain things so that I don't tell them the same thing over and over again. But I will write a handwritten note every 2 months. I write a handwritten note to all my people. So
one little, not necessarily, I guess, I got more information as I was doing my 135 and doing my your marketing plan. You're doing your strategies for your priorities and all that.
Yeah.
I was thinking that once a week was too much, and from what I'm hearing, it's not. Basically, you're saying every other week, do something. And then one thing that I thought about implementing with the whole COVID and everything, and people is maybe get, I know in our neighborhoods, enclave, like 150 houses, the HOA person got a food truck like Jim and Nick's.
Yeah.
Pre-order. So I think that would be a good, if you're sponsoring that and you are bringing on different food trucks in the area for everybody.
Yeah, that is nice. When you if you have the money to do something like that, or a varsity truck or whatever.
What I meant by sponsoring. Okay, let me be clear.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So, so really what it boils down to is one thing. You know, don't do 100 different things. Do one thing. Commit to doing 3 hours a day of lead generation. And in that lead generation, like once every 2 weeks, 2 of those hours are out and about on your little farm. It will make a huge difference in your business and a huge difference in your life. You know, that's what we're all about, creating lives worth living. And it really boils down to doing one thing. So all you have to do is do it, and do it consistently. And I was trying to stop sharing this because we've come to the end. Oh, yeah, y'all need to do this 12 direct exercise. Part of your homework.
Is it going to be emailed to us?
Oh, I thought it already had been. I'll find out. It hasn't been.
Usually what happens after the session is we get an email that says, here's what your homework is.
Okay. Okay, well then y'all will get that, because it has, let me see. I have been delighted to be with y'all today, and I hope that y'all got something out of it. And I apologize for not being as prepared as I was for the class that I didn't get to teach last Friday. But family, you know, family is God, family business. Yep.
Family comes first.
Yep. So
I got a lot out of it. I think we all got clarity out of it. You know, niches, our farms, and just the whole idea of brainstorming, collaborating together. I think we all got something out of it. What do you say?
good. Good.
Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate it, especially dealing with the family situation. Thank you very much.
I am so glad to be in business with all of y'all, and some of y'all I don't know, but I look forward to getting to know you. And if y'all ever need need me to answer a question, like for contracts or anything, text me. I can almost always reply immediately.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I'll be texting you because, like I said, I'm going like, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step?
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, y'all. Go sell a house this weekend.
Hey, there's an idea.
Thanks,
folks. Everybody have a great weekend.
Thank you, Kathy. So long, everyone.
Bye.
Hey, are we all supposed to leave now? Okay. Huh? Okay, well, wait.
I'm not sure.
Okay.